And this is being recorded, right? So I remember my members to turn on your microphone so it's on the green. Okay. Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bennett?
Here.
Mr. Javnik?
Here.
Mr. Norden?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Here. All right. And to our applicant, thank you for allowing us to reschedule and make sure we get this in a timely manner. All right. So before we get to that item, is there anything else to add to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll consider the agenda approved. Okay, I'm going to deal with all these minutes right now. The September 17th Board of Zoning Adjustment minutes, which was
Mr. Norden? May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I give you.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. September 17th Board of Zoning Adjustment meeting minutes.
I have a motion, we accept them as.
Second.
As distributed? Okay. I'll second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 17th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'm going to go to the August 20th Board of Zoning Adjustment meeting minutes because we had two new board members, but I believe it's probably not an issue. So since Jim and I were part of those, a part of that meeting, I will make a motion to approve the August 20th BOZA minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Jim. Is there any discussion on the minutes of August 20th? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? There. We've cleaned that up. All right, now, for BOZA application 24-003, the applicant requesting approval for variance for manufactured single-wide home for storage at 415 Pierce Gulch Road. This is in the Copper Gulch area? Yes, sir. Okay. We'll have the applicant give a brief explanation of your situation, and then we'll hear from the department.
And then just push the button for the green microphone.
We have purchased.
Could you identify yourself?
Excuse me. My name's Richard Hall. I'm the owner of 415 Pierce Gulch Road.
Okay.
We have purchased a mobile home, a single-wide mobile home, for these folks who are Sean and April Ransom. They purchased the home and intended to have it on property that we are in process of seeking a subdivision as part of my property, breaking off 4.5 acres for them. That process has been underway since March. We've had a very difficult time acquiring the services of a surveyor, which is a principal part of that submission for a minor subdivision. That part is done, but we are in a place where we were able to purchase that single-wide mobile home at a very favorable price. One of the conditions of the purchase was there was a time limit on removal of the mobile home in its current location in Florence. We sought a permit to store and a permit to transport. We thought the permit was going to be granted and discovered subsequently that it was not. It was rejected because of the zoning on my property. We had already, at that point, because we thought it was going to be granted, purchased the home. We spent hundreds of hours preparing Black Gulch Road, which is a county road that's not maintained, to get access into the place where it would be, and prepared a site, a pad to place the single wide, and prepared driveway and road up to that pad.
It's a subdivision road or a private?
No.
It's a private road?
Black Gulch Road is a county road, and then from there into my property is just a driveway.
Okay.
There's no other road involved. So we're seeking a waiver of that rejection to be able to store that with also the understanding that we are in process of doing the submission for a minor subdivision so we can break that property off and put it in their name.
Is the home going to be stored at the same site that it'll be placed in the subdivision?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We will do that as quickly as it can be completed. Like I said, the longest item in that submission was the work of the surveyor, and that portion is completed now.
Okay. All right. Any questions right now of the applicant? Okay. We'll hear from the department.
Good morning. You've already stated that they're wanting a variance for the zone regulation of 3.7.2. Manufactured home single wide shall not be stored in an agricultural, rural, low density residence, medium density residence, high density residence, neighborhood business, industrial park, and airport industrial park. The BOZA criteria questions that were on the application that the applicant answered, the variance, number one, the variance would not authorize any use other than those enumerated as a use of by right in the zone district, and that the essential character of the zone district would not be altered. And the applicant answered would not be altered. As a department, our response was the storing of the manufactured home on the size of a lot that he does have, even though it is an AR, would not impact that zone at all. Number two, an unnecessary hardship to the owner could be shown to occur if the provisions of the resolution were strictly interpreted. Pardon me. The applicant answered, have already prepared a road and invested $10,000 to store the home. Storage is only until applicant for the minor subdivision is granted and a building permit is granted also to set the mobile home. The application for a minor subdivision is expected to be filled within the 6-month period, is what he answered. So, and that's why we agree with that. So our response as a department, the applicant has stated he is trying to work towards a minor subdivision on the property due to the surveyor's issues that was stated beginning at the whole start of this situation. The department has confirmed with the surveyor of the active minor sub application, so we have contacted the surveyor and have dealt with it and talked to him about it. We do know it's in effect and he is getting ready for the application. Also, the applicant has a purchase time restraint, and we are very aware of it, and only has a small window to move that manufactured home off the property that is existing and is currently on. So we want to try to expedite it as much
Okay,
as possible.
repeat that last part about the manufactured home presently where?
It's presently in Florence
Okay.
right now. And they have a very short window to get it from that location to this location. And then number three, their circumstances found to constitute a hardship either where were not created by the owner or were in existence at the time of the passage of this resolution and cannot reasonably be corrected. The applicant answered, money was put into this and hundreds of hours for prep work, believing a storage permit would be granted. Permit was rejected, and we do have that all in the packet that it shows that he did try to get the storage permit and everything on there. Our response was that the regulation 3.7.2, the manufactured home shall not be stored in an AR zone, was our reply to that permit. And then number four, the variance would not be inconsistent with the intent and purpose of this resolution or would not prejudicially affect the health, safety, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the county. The applicant answered no expected effect on health, safety, or welfare from the Fremont County inhabitants. And the department, we also agree. The proposed lot coverage with this, if he gets granted the storage permit, will only be 0.54% in the AR district that they're in. Their minimum is 15%. He's nowhere near that. It's fine. The front yard setback, he's got 962 feet from the front yard setback. The minimum is just 50 feet. Side yard setback is approximately 250 feet. And the minimums for AR is 25 feet. And the rear yard setback was 77 feet, the minimum is 50 feet, so he meets everything where they're gonna try to set it where it is currently where they want to set it. The application factors, we have the application, we have a plat drawing, the proposed land use is a manufactured storage permit. The permit use is not allowed in AR. There is no water or sanitation on the proposed lot where they want to set the manufactured home at the moment. So we don't have nothing to worry about that. The building department did have comments. They received an application for a proposed BOZA from Mr. Hall. After their review at 1415 Pierce Gulch in Cotopaxi, the 900 square foot dwelling on this property was never issued a certificate of occupancy. The permit 21805 was the dwelling, for this dwelling expired on September 8th of 22. The 3,584 square foot dwelling was issued a certificate of occupancy on April 3rd of 24 under permit number 23432, which is the second building. The existing OWTS was permitted, inspected, and approved on November 3rd of 2016. So that was the building department's comments, and since then, those issues have been taken care of that building. He has a current building permit. We have a copy of it. Everything's squared away on the building portion of the property. The permits that have been pulled now is just the move permit from 1444 County Road 119 has been pulled for that manufactured home to be moved on October 19th. So that's how small the window is to try to get this moved. All the adjacent property owners, we haven't heard anything from. The letters were sent out on the 26th of September. This notice was posted in the Daily Record on September 28th, and we have not received any negative or comments on this proposal. Finally, the Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval for the permit for the storage permit to be put on this with a condition that a minor subdivision application to be completed within the valid storage permit 6-month time frame. And that's all we have as a department.
Okay, any questions of the department?
I do have one. Did you let them go ahead with the understanding it'd be automatic? How did we end up here where they?
So we're here because in an AR district, an agricultural rural district, you cannot store a manufactured home on your lot. So the reason
Understand that.
Yeah. So the reason we're here is because they have a small window. They're trying to purchase this and they want to get the subdivision in, but the subdivision is not even active in our department yet. It hasn't even been turned in. So if in a perfect world, if that application would have showed up and the subdivision would have been active and they would never have needed a storage permit. So they would just be able to set the house.
But you do not have the minor subdivision application yet?
No, the department does not have the application yet, no.
All right. And how close are you to getting, how close is the surveyor to finishing that work?
The surveyor is finished.
Surveyor.
Just finished, yes.
So you're preparing the subdivision application?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my question is 6 months adequate?
Based on what I know now, yes.
Okay. If we were so inclined to allow 9 to 12 months, would that be a problem for the department?
That would actually run into a problem with applicants because that storage permit only runs for 6 months. That's why we attached to that time frame. It would be up by that 6-month
Okay.
So it's only issued for 6 months at a time.
So
Could
then
they
you,
reapply if they needed to?
We would have to do this all over again.
Oh,
Can we extend it?
well, what's to prevent us from saying 9 months?
So you can put 9 months in there, but just be aware that the storage permit only lasts 6 months.
And we can't change that.
I mean, we could go in there and you could extend it possibly, but that would be a discussion that I would want to have with the lawyer to make sure that we could give them applicant time and not put them in another hardship.
Okay, well. I guess,
the motion?
well, yeah, I need a motion, but I guess, so the 6 month storage permits, that's in the department's regulations on any,
So when the permit is issued, it has a 6 month time frame on it when the permit is actually issued.
if you were in a zone district where the storage is allowed, those are all 6 month storage
Yes,
permits?
it is only allowed to store there for 6 months so they can get the building permit to set it. But you can store up to one manufactured home on a lot.
And let's say, when does it move from being a storage permit to that building having been set on foundation? When do you recognize a difference?
As soon as they pull through the building department for the set permit, then it goes into the set permit time frame to get it in there. So that storage permit is no longer storage, they're actually actively building to get it set at that moment. As
Okay.
soon as they pull the building permit for the set.
So,
And how long is the building permit good for?
I would have to relay with the building permit, but I'm pretty sure it's good for a year.
and they can always get an extension of the building permit. So,
Yes, you could always get a extension through the building permit.
so in other words, if you run into the 6 months storage issue, then make sure you get your building permit pulled.
Yes, sir.
That would be the easiest solution to this discussion we're just having.
Yes, sir.
And that's also the reason why we're trying to get the subdivision application in, because until
Right.
it's a separate lot, he can't pull the building permit.
All right, so I would be inclined to extend the 6 months, but it sounds as though that's what the regulations say, so I think you see the path that you need to take to comply with the minor subdivision and 6 month storage.
And you think you can do that?
Based on what we know now, yes.
Okay.
We were told that the storage permit could be extended an additional 6 months.
So now that we're running into the new regulations is the reason why it could change. That's the reason why we're trying to keep it to the old regs. But as soon as it changes, there will no longer be a storage permit. As soon as the regs change, there won't be an allowed.
There will be no storage permits?
No storage permits. as
How
soon
do
as
how
it's
do you
effective.
deal, then,
So now you're gonna have to pull a building permit as soon as you put one manufactured home on a lot. So there's no storing. If there's a primary there, there's no storage. That'll be in the new regs.
But without the subdivision.
So as soon as you pull, if there's a empty lot and you pull a manufactured home onto it, you have to go to the building department and pull the set permit when you pull that onto the lot, and it'll be an active building
so
permit from that
if the
moment.
new regs were enforced right now, they'd have to pull the building permit
They
before they
wouldn't be allowed
transport
to have
them.
that on that lot at all until they get that subdivision finished.
Talk about catch-22.
Well, it sounds like they're better off with the old regs. At least from a storage standpoint. All right, you want to make a motion?
I was gonna make a motion that we approve BOSA 24-003 Hall. I was gonna put an extension on it, but I don't know if, I'm gonna stay with it 9 months. But
Okay.
it only changed.
Well, we can make a record of it and recognizing that our action may have pushed up against the regulations, but I'll second that motion. Any discussion? All right, so the motion is to allow the variance, and our motion, although it may not carry any legal weight, is to allow 9 months. You do with it what you wish. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I would tread on that extra 3 months real gentle.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much two-thirds guarantee there's.
And you may end up having to come back to us, but, I mean, it'd be easier for us if the minor subdivision application was already in the office.
But if it was in, we wouldn't have to approve this, would we?
Yeah.
Yes, if the minor subdivision was in and approved, we would only be doing the storage permit for if they
Yeah.
needed it. But he could pull a set permit if he had a lot to put it on. So we wouldn't even have to be here technically.
And the primary property now has a CO from the building department.
Yes, everything's squared away on the buildings on the current property that's on there now.
Okay. So what county road does this come off of on Pierce Gulch?
Pierce Gulch comes off Iron Mountain Road.
Iron Mountain
County
Road.
Road 1. And then Black Gulch Road comes off Pierce Gulch.
And how many,
Pierce Gulch is way on the end down there, right?
Yes,
and how many total acres do you have that you're subdividing?
37,
And you're giving them
4.5.
4.5?
Off the record, oh, wait, I better, wait.
Well, okay.
Let me, I was gonna comment.
I'll just adjourn the meeting at 11:21.
All right. I have 53 acres right where Pine Gulch goes into the school section.
Really?
Yeah, so
And-
I don't think that's a conflict at all. No. I didn't realize exactly where.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to come back a second day.
Well, thank you for your help. We appreciate it.
I bet. Are you guys new residents or just?
No, I've been here for 40 years,
All right,
my whole life.
good luck.
It is a gorgeous area. I mean,
It
I
is
wouldn't have
It's beautiful.
property there if I didn't want it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You realize it's gonna rain on Saturday?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going in today though, right?
Saturday's supposed to be the move day if it don't rain.
I'm gonna redo the permit, so
We're gonna renew it just in case.
just in case.
It does rain.
All right, good luck.
I hope not.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you guys.
I'm gonna keep the map.
All right, go. Hold on, I need to sign. All right, guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's